Good morning. I'll give it just a second here. Sometimes there's like a little delay. So, welcome to Pinky Moss Cakes, Cookies, and Candy, also known as Pinky Moss Sisters in the Kitchen. I'm Linda, and it's my turn, my Monday, to cook by myself. Mary and I will be together tomorrow, and then we'll be together Wednesday, tomorrow at her house, and we'll be together Wednesday back over here. So we kind of rotate to kind of keep it even like, and we're making something really simple today. I have a lot of recipes of muffins, and some of these recipes I got a long time ago, and you know how it is when you get a recipe, you always adjust it to what suits you. And a lot of these muffins I've made before, and I did make these a couple of weeks ago, and I showed you pictures of them, and I told you that I was going to be making them. So today we're making Pina Colada muffins. And for those of you who are not familiar with us, who are new to our page, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for following us. We hope that you'll share our page with your friends, family, neighbors, church family, and whoever you know that might like to watch us. So, and we do, you know, sometimes we'll adjust a recipe, and I'm actually adjusting this one today. It is on our page for our members. For those of you who don't know, we give out the ingredients on our live video. So if you want the recipe, you can get it two ways. You can watch the video and get the recipe, or if you want to subscribe, you can go to our website, www.pinkymosskitchen.com. It's on this page. It's easy to find. There is a $5.99 a month plus whatever taxes in your area charge for that, and you can print those recipes. And we have our recipes back on there back from, I guess, over 2 years ago, and we're going to be celebrating our 3rd year next month. So we're real excited about that, and we've got some exciting news to tell y'all, but I'll wait until Mary and I are together to tell y'all for that. So Carla's on the other end monitoring. Hi, Carla. Thank you so much, and I'm sure Mary is also watching. Y'all know Mary had a storm come through their area the other night and knocked out their power, and knocked a bunch of limbs and trees and debris and stuff down, and but they did get their power back. So we're very thankful for that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is really simple. I've got my oven on 400. I have got a yellow cake mix. You can use any brand, store brand, off brand, name brand, whatever you want, whatever you keep in your pantry. And these are 18, no, they're 15 ounces. Seems like they used to be 18. Just a regular yellow cake mix. If you don't have a yellow one and you have a vanilla, or you have a, oh goodness, I would probably try to stick with vanilla, white, or yellow, because if you get something that's flavored, it's going to change the flavor of these muffins. One trick that I always do when I use a cake mix is I always sift it. And you'll be surprised what you have left in your sifter after you sift your cake mix. So this is something that's just real quick and easy. If you have a hankering for like a little simple dessert, or you find out at the last minute somebody's coming over and you just want something simple, these are quick and easy to make. So I'm not going to push all that down, but you can see there's quite a bit of the little things in there that I don't want in my muffins. So I'll just empty those. I keep my sifter in a bag in the cabinet. I used to wash it every time I used it, but then I quit doing that. Now this is a package of vanilla instant pudding mix. It has to be instant. This is something that I keep in my pantry all the time, and I keep different flavors, but I always keep a lot of vanilla. And for you bakers out there, you probably already know this, or for your moms or grandmas that do a lot of cooking for your kiddos. If you buy this in the 4-pack, you get a little bit price break versus buying it one package at a time. And in our Walmart, you can buy it where there's 4 packs of vanilla, or you can buy it where there's 2 packs of vanilla and 2 packs of chocolate. I keep chocolate, vanilla, lemon, and then our sweet friend Brenda keeps us supplied with the Oreo cookies, which we absolutely love, and it's just almost impossible to find around here. So shout out to Brenda for that. So this doesn't have to be sifted. It's really a real powdery. So I'm just going to pour that in there, and I'm going to just whisk it together real quick. And I made a couple of adjustments to this recipe, and I'm going to tell you why. I cut down on the milk to where the recipe said a cup and a fourth. My pineapple's got juice in it, and because I lost my candied cherries when we had to throw everything out of our freezers and refrigerators, so I use maraschino cherries, which are full of juice. So it's going to have extra liquid in it, so I cut down on the milk. I'm only using a cup of whole milk. Now in the original recipe, it's got a cup and a fourth. I'm also adding a couple of tablespoons of all-purpose flour, just to give that a little bit more thickness to this batter, because of all the juices that are in it. So I'm just going to stir that together real quick, and then I'm going to move this because I don't want to knock it off the thing. I don't like stuff without a lid on it. And then I've got my milk. I've got a half a cup of oil. I've got, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of real vanilla. I think that's what it says. Yeah. And I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of coconut extract. If you don't have this, this is Watkins. If you don't have this and can't get it, you can use a teaspoon of cream of coconut. If you keep that in your pantry or in your refrigerator, and I've got to get some more of that too, because that was thrown out too. You can get the little container where you can squeeze, like the squeeze bottle, and that way, if you don't want to use a whole lot at one time, you can keep it fresh in the refrigerator. You can also buy it in the can, but then you got to empty it and put it in a container. So I like the squeeze bottle. So I'm going to pour my oil in here. This is a half a cup, and this is just vegetable oil. You don't want to use a flavored oil. You can use vegetable or canola. I wouldn't advise any other kind, because again, it's going to change the taste. And our Molly taught us to scrape whatever measure, cup or bowl or whatever you were doing, to scrape that, and we are that's something I've done all of my life, ever since I was a child. 3 eggs, these are large eggs, if you can believe that. They look like mediums to me, but eggs aren't as big as they used to be. And I was able to get some more eggs the other day. The first day I was out after the storm, they had a limit on them. I know I told y'all that the other day, but I was able to get some more over the weekend, because when you're baking, you go through eggs really, really quickly. I used to keep probably 6 or 8 dozen eggs in my refrigerator when I was baking. This is a half teaspoon, so I'm going to do this twice. This is my vanilla. I don't know why I didn't get out a teaspoon measure, but I didn't. And then this is a coconut. And this is Watkins, and Watkins is really good if you happen to be anywhere where they sell Watkins. We can get it locally at a couple of different places, so I try to stay stocked up on 2 or 3 different kinds. Okay, so we got our oil. Let me make sure I've got everything checked off here. Eggs, oil, vanilla, coconut, and then we're going to pour our milk in here. And when you're making muffins, you do not want to overmix them. You want to just mix until they're moistened. And of course, this is not a homemade batter, but you want to be real careful, because if you mix them too much, it's going to make the muffin tough, and you don't want a tough muffin. Okay, so let's see, I got everything in here. Let me get my mixer hooked up here. We'll get this mixed up and then we'll add our other ingredients. Now, when you add instant pudding mix to something, the batter may look a little thin to start with, but that's going to thicken up because once your pudding mix starts to set, it will get thicker. So, goodness, I didn't get a spatula out. I've already made muffins this morning, and I've cleaned and washed everything, and I'll show y'all what I made in a minute. But now, you may wonder why I didn't fix my muffin tins first, and there's a reason for that, and I'll tell you in just a second. Now, you can see that's already started to thicken up, but once I pour this other in here, it's going to be a little bit, the batter's going to be a little thinner, and that's exactly why I didn't, I added that extra flour and didn't use quite as much milk. So I'll go over these ingredients in just a second. I'm using 3/4 a cup of angel flake coconut. It does need to be sweetened. So 3/4 a cup. If you keep your coconut in the freezer to keep it fresh like we do, you'll need to take it out and let it set at room temperature. And I always stick mine in the microwave for probably like 12 seconds to get that real good moist. And when you take it out, you'll see it's just glistening. I have 3/4 cup of toasted and coarsely chopped pecans. You want to toast these the day before if you have time. If you don't, you'll need to do this first because they do need to cool. You don't want to put hot pecans in your cake batter. So I always keep toasted pecans. A lot of y'all know that, you know, for the last 4 months plus, I've been, you know, eating healthy and making healthy choices, and nuts is something that I eat every day. I don't eat a lot, but I'll eat like you know, just a tablespoon or maybe a little over a tablespoonful of nuts every day. And the healthy nuts that you can eat, preferably unsalted, would be pistachios, pecans, almonds, or walnuts. Those are all real healthy and real good for you. And yes, they do have fats in them, but they're healthy fats. Now, these are my chopped cherries. I'm using a 1/2 cup. You'll notice it's got a little bit of juice in it. I may even drain off some of this juice. I don't think I want all that juice in there. The recipe calls for candied cherries. I'm using maraschino. I know I told y'all that earlier. I just took them out of a jar and just roughly chopped them, and that's a 1/2 cup. We love cherries. And then I'm using a 1/2 cup of crushed pineapple. And it does have the juice in it, and you want that pineapple juice in here. So I'm going to pour that in there, and I'm just going to stir these. Just gently stir it until it gets all mixed up. And you talk about a yummy cupcake, and no, I didn't eat them when I made them before, and I'm not going to eat any today. But y'all know Mike rates everything that I make, and he gave these a 9.6, I believe is what he said. So he will tell you the truth, and he'll be honest with you on the taste of anything that I cook. So I always know if he gives anything a 9 something, it's really good, because he's real hard on grading anything that I cook. So let's see, I'll make sure I've got everything in there. My yellow cake mix, any brand. I took the milk down to 1 cup. If you're using candied cherries, you want 1 1/4 cups. 3 large eggs, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon of coconut extract, 1 box of instant vanilla pudding mix. It has to be instant. 3/4 cup of sweetened flake coconut, 3/4 cup of toasted and chopped pecans, and then 1/2 cup of crushed pineapple with the juice. And there's my batter. So I've got my jumbo cookie scoop here. and I just pour a little oil in a paper plate, and then I kind of just make sure that it gets all over my scoop so the muffin mix comes out easy. Make sure that's all over that. Okay, now this is how I'm doing my muffin pans. You're going to need two 12 muffin pans to do this the way I'm going to show you how to do it. And this, sometimes when you're cooking something in the oven, I hope y'all can see this, you know, the muffins get crowded, they don't cook as well. If you do them like this, they're going to cook better, and they're going to hopefully get a real nice mound on them. The ones I cooked this morning did. So you start off in the middle and then just rotate them. So you're going to get 6 muffins out of your 12 muffin pans. And the same with this. And these little tins that I get here, I get them at TJ Maxx or Home Goods or any of the discount stores. Of course, Tuesday morning's closing. Just breaks my heart every time I think about it, because that's one of my favorite all-time stores. I remember the first time I went in one, I was in Monrovia, California, and I was so taken back by that store. I bought Haley, she was just a baby, and I bought her that little iPlay blue poncho, a little rain poncho, and I've been in love with Tuesday morning ever since then. Okay, so I wanted this to set just a couple of minutes. That's why I waited to do the muffin pans. So I'm going to fill these muffin tins. I'm going to do a large scoop, and I'm probably going to go back and put a little more in it. But I believe this scoop is 4 tablespoons, if I'm not mistaken. Because you want a high rise out of your muffin. And usually, if you start, now I have had some that didn't rise, but usually if you cook your muffins at a higher temperature and put a little bit more in the cups, you're going to get a higher rise than you would if you bake them at 350 or 375. And when I get these in the oven, I'll show y'all the ones that I made this morning. And I will be making them sometimes in August or September. You know, sometimes we like to do these recipes first before we start, you know, showing them to y'all. So I'm going to put about a little bit more, maybe another tablespoon of batter in each muffin tin, because I want them to be really full. Now, if your batter is really thin, I will tell you, expect them to run over. So that's another reason you want a thick batter. They don't tend to run over as bad. And for those of you who have a problem with stuff running over in your oven, I have an oven liner in my oven. Now, some ovens you might not could use an oven liner, but mine you can. And I always keep an extra 1 or 2 on hand, even though they last for a long time. It's a silicone liner that if anything runs over. Now, I have just a tiny bit left, but it's not enough to fool with. So I'm just going to set this aside, and I will show y'all that they're about 3/4 full, if y'all can see. And I'm going to get them over here in the oven. And I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes. And while they're baking, we're going to make a little glaze to go on them. Now, you do not want to you don't want to overbake, so I'm setting the timer for 15, and then I'll check them then, and see if they need to be cooked a little bit longer. So, y'all know that we had that storm come through, and knocked our power off, and we didn't have electricity for 80 hours, which there was a lot of people that were without electricity longer than we were. So I was very, very thankful when ours did come on, but it was off long enough that we had to throw everything out of our refrigerators and freezers, and all the trees that blew down and the limbs and everything in our yard. And I guess I was probably the only person on the universe that didn't know that insurance companies don't pay for trees falling down unless they hit your house, the structure, or your vehicles. So I was in for a not too pleasant surprise when I found out they wasn't going to pay for it. But anyway, I have someone coming this week to get the yard cleaned up and hopefully get the trees down, and hopefully the weather will permit that we can get that backyard taken care of and this tree down on the side, because I don't even feel comfortable walking out in the backyard because this one tree is split to about 4 feet from the trunk, from the bottom. And you know, any ground movement or slight wind or something is going to blow that tree down. So hopefully we'll have that done this week, and we won't have to worry about that. So y'all know that we are sponsored by Imperial Sugar, and I am using, for this glaze, I'm using 1.5 cups of Imperial Sugar, and I'm just going to measure this in the bowl. This is a 3-cup bowl here, so I figured I'd just pour it in here instead of getting another bowl out, and I'll just kind of guess it. It looks like it's about up to that line right there. Not quite enough. I made some simple syrup this morning. It's, you know, it's just amazing when you're starting from scratch and you throw everything out of your refrigerators and freezers. All those things that we're so used to having at our fingertips, you know, they're not there. So you either got, like, I didn't remember to buy cream of coconut. Oh, somebody was at the door. So I got to get cream of coconut, and I've already been to the store 3 or 4 times. But, you know, just like I love pepper sauce, I love hot sauce, all this stuff that I use, you know, to make my food taste better. I didn't have it, so I bought part of it one day, and then I thought, I need some pepper sauce, and there's no pepper sauce, so I had to, next time I went to the store, I had to go back and get some pepper sauce. So, give me just a second here. I just want to make sure. I thought I saw a shadow. Somebody was at the door, but I guess it was just something blowing there. Leaves or limbs or something blowing. Okay, so I'm going to use, in this glaze, I've got 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of milk. That's 4, so I won't use all of that. But I'm going to pour about half of this in here. And then I'm going to, this is my crushed pineapple. It doesn't matter if it's got a little pineapple in it. I'm just going to put a little bit of pineapple juice in there. Now, a lot of people keep pineapple juice in the little small cans. I do. I keep some in the pantry. So if you use all your pineapple juice for something else, and you just had a little, and you use that in these muffins, and you don't have any extra pineapple juice, we'll just add more milk. It just needs about 3 to 4 tablespoons of liquid in the 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And I'll show you what consistency I want. And this is too thick. I already know that, so I'm going to get this whisk up. And I'm not putting any vanilla in here. Normally I would put some clear vanilla in here because I don't want it to get a kind of a dark color. But I want that pineapple flavor, so I'm just going to add some more pineapple juice to it. I'm going to add a teaspoon at a time until I get the consistency that I want. If it's too thick, it's going to look more like a thin icing on top of your cupcake. But if it's thin, it's going to just look just like a glaze. So that's about what I wanted. And you don't need a mixer for this. You can just do it with a whisk. And if you have some left over, you can keep this in the refrigerator probably for a week or so. But if you're making like a double batch or something, you're probably going to need all of this. Okay, so I'm going to move all of this over. I won't need any more of that milk, so I'll just discard that. Oops. So I've got this ready. And now I'm going to show y'all the other muffins that I made this morning. I had 3 bananas left, and we buy bananas every week. I try to eat fruit at least, well, I do eat fruit once a day, and sometimes I'll eat it twice a day. I don't eat a banana every day, but I do eat a banana 2 or 3 times a week. So I think Mike bought bananas and I bought bananas too, and we wound up with extra. So I had 3 bananas, and I said, well, to keep from throwing those bananas away, I need to make something. So I decided that I would just put together some banana nut muffins. So, and again, I'm going to do these on a program live in August or September. And these are, the recipe made a dozen. And you'll see I got that high rise on them. And I've got some, the coarse raw sugar on top. And I just brushed the top of them with some simple syrup that I made this morning. That coarse sugar makes them real shiny and kind of glistening like, and I like that to put on top. Plus it gives it just a little bit of extra, I don't know, just a little extra look to it. So I have got just a few more minutes on the muffins. Well, actually, I've got more than a few more minutes. I've got about 7 more minutes. But I'm getting everything ready for my trip to Ireland. So I'm gonna move this just a little bit closer, so hopefully y'all can hear me talk. So I'm extremely excited about my trip to Ireland. It might seem a little crazy to some because I'm doing this, but it's something that I have wanted to do for a very long time. And you know, you hear so many people say, I wish I would have done this, you know, when I was younger, when I was able to enjoy it. And I'm certainly no spring chicken, but thankfully I am able to get around fairly good, and it's just something that I decided if I'm ever going to do it, I need to do it now. So very, very excited. I leave 2 weeks from Wednesday, and Mary will be cooking and holding down everything here at home while I'm gone. I do hope to go live over there. And I don't know how that will work because I don't know what kind of internet service I'll have over there. I will take my little portable box. So hopefully it will work. I know the hotel that I'm staying at, that I'm booked, does have Wi-Fi. So I'm hoping that I get to do some live videos from Ireland. It may be at odd times because Ireland is 6 hours ahead of us. And so I hope that I don't wake any of y'all in the middle of the night if I'm doing a live video. I'll try to be cognizant of the time, but it might be that I film some if I get to on odd hours. But for those of you who are not awake at that time, maybe y'all can watch it on replay the next day. So anyway, I fly out of Shreveport, which is, you know, about 50 minutes from us. Shreveport is in Louisiana, and it's a much smaller airport than driving to Dallas, which I had originally planned to do that and just leave the car parked. And I thought, well, that's just another expense, and why do I want to do that when I can just fly out of Shreveport? So I'm going to fly out of Shreveport, and then I'll have about 5 hours to wait in in Dallas, DFW, before my flight leaves. It's an all-night flight. It leaves at 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's a non-stop flight from Dallas to Dublin. So that's what I'll be on. It leaves at 7, and it gets in at Dublin the next day at, I think, around 10. And then from there, I have a train ticket booked, and I'm going to go take the train. Well, first of all, I'll have to get from the airport to the train station, and there are several different ways I can do that. Don't have a way booked yet, but I'm pretty sure that will be very easy to do at the airport. So I'm going to ride the train from Dublin to Killarney, and I believe there's one train change that I'll have to do, and then I'll go straight to Killarney, and then I'll be based out of Killarney until Monday on the 17th, I believe. I'm not looking at the calendar, but I believe it's the 17th. And then I'll take the train back to Dublin, and then stay at a hotel near the airport. And I'm hoping, because I'm taking an early train from Killarney to Dublin, I'm hoping that I can get my luggage situated and then take a bus or something downtown Dublin and have a little time in the downtown area in Dublin to see a few things there. So some of the things that I really want to do while I'm there is I definitely want to visit some castles. I want to go to some cemeteries. I'm just really big on history, and I love to go through cemeteries, and they actually tell you that's one thing that you should do while you're in Ireland. But I have an interest in that anyway, even in the United States. So I think that's something I want to do. I have one tour booked, which will be the Ring of Kerry. And for those of you who are familiar, that is 111 miles. Now, don't ask me to convert to kilometers, because I'm not, I can't do that without looking it up. But it's 111 miles, and that's going to be on a tour bus. If I'm not mistaken, it's not the big bus. I think it's a smaller bus, so it'll be a smaller crowd that I'll be in with. I've got that booked. And then some of the other things that I would like to do, of course, I want to mill around town there, and there's a few shops that I want to go in Killarney. And there's a couple of other towns that I'm hoping that I get to go to. I really would love to go to Cork, which is in another county, but it's a train ride, and it's not that long of a train ride. So I hope to get to go there. I would love to take some kind of a little sea excursion. You know, they're usually, I don't know how many hours they are, but it's on a boat. And I would love to do that if I can. I don't know that I will get to, but when I was doing all the research on this, I thought the biggest bang for my buck was doing the Ring of Kerry, because you get to see a lot of places, you get to stop in a lot of towns, and you get to see a lot of landmarks there in Ireland. So that was my thinking behind that. Now, there's a lot of places that I would absolutely love to go to that I won't be able to. I'd love to go to Galway. There's several different other counties that I would love to visit. County Clare. I believe that I will see the Dingle Peninsula. I believe that's on the stop with the Ring of Kerry tour. But I've got my everything printed, and I'm going to have it all in a folder, so it will be easy access to get to. And I've got it in order, you know, like my flight first, and then the train, and I've got it all in order with color-coded paper clips. I'm kind of one of these people that probably some people think I'm a little obsessive about organizing something. But I'm a planner, and that's how I am, and that's how I've always been all of my life. Okay, my buzzer is going off with my thing with my timer, so let me check and see what my cupcakes look like. I think they're going to need to cook a little longer. They are. Whoops. And they did. little bit longer. And some of them did run over just a little, but that's okay. They look kind of rustic like this, and I'll show you when I take them out of the oven what I'm talking about. And I don't mind them being like this because I like something that looks rustic. So I'm gonna set these here so I can set the muffins on them. So anyway, what was I talking about? So the hotel that I'm staying at is right across, or real near, the Killarney Park, National Park. And from what I understand and read, and I've done a ton of research on this, it's the oldest one in Ireland. So I'm excited to see that. They have, they call them jaunt, or I believe it's what, and I may not be pronouncing this right, but it's like what we would say a buggy ride or a carriage ride that will take you places where you wouldn't go if you were in a car or on a bus, or at least that's my understanding. So I hope that I'm not boring y'all talking about this. I do get excited. I don't apologize for that because I think life should have excitement in it. I've worked hard all my life. I started working when I was 17 years old, and very, very few months from the time I turned 17 to right now that I have not worked. I've worked, and lots of times I've worked as much as 3 jobs at one time. And yes, you can do it. For people that think it can't be done, it can be done. We've done it. I've done it. Mary's done it. Lots of you have done it. So I just felt like, this was a time that I wanted to, I guess, maybe, I don't know if you call it selfish or not, but some people might. I don't know, but I think that is something that I feel like that I want to do. So I bought me a little toy to take with me, and I had thought about it. I've done a little reading on it, and I just decided that I wanted to do it. So I don't know fully how to operate it yet, but I bought me a GoPro 11, which for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a little tiny camera, and it is very tiny. It does videos and cameras, and it's supposed to really take good wide shots of what you want to capture. And I'm hoping that between now and 2 weeks from now that I will be comfortable enough with this. And I'm not going to show it to you now because I'm still learning how to use it, but I hope I'm going to be comfortable enough to really get some good things for y'all to see while I'm over there. That's my plan. So again, I want to thank y'all, everyone, Mary and I do, for your prayers during all these storms. I honestly don't know why this year has been so bad, but it seems like there's more storms today. There's already been storms north of us, and it just seems like it's just won't stop. It's just one right after another one, and it's hitting multiple states. Indiana got hit last night, and we have many viewers in Indiana, and I just pray that all of y'all are safe. I think it probably maybe had hit Arkansas, or either was going to Ohio, several other states, that it looked like that it was a possibility that, that y'all got some bad weather yesterday. And I think some people even lost their life from yesterday when the storms came through. So I can't stress enough, and I'm not, I am a weather person, and I'm not, I don't live my life as a scaredy cat, but I have a very healthy respect for bad weather. And I hope that all of y'all are very conscious about it. A lot of people go about their business and they're so busy, they don't realize that they may be going into the path of a storm, or it may be near where they're at. So pay attention to weather signals, pay attention to the news, and take cover and do whatever you need to do to get safe, because storms do kill people. It happens all the time. And normally, now I know that May and June are still tornado months, but normally in our area, today is what, the 26th. Normally by this time, the storms have kind of subsided, and it gets dry. And then you'll go a couple of months with no rain, or that is here in our area. There have been years that we've had green grass throughout the entire summer. But normally, as a rule, we have a really dry, especially July and August. Okay, my beeper's going off again, so let me check my cupcakes or muffins. I think they probably are done. I'm going to leave that one in there just about another minute or so. I'm going to leave them in there one more minute. So these have cooked 15, 21, this will be 22 minutes that they've cooked. And I believe on the recipe for our subscribers, I believe I said, oh no, I said 14 minutes. Well, they're definitely cooking longer than 14 minutes. They're cooking about 21, 22 minutes. So depending on how thick you have them, and I do have these pretty thick, I would say start the timer at 15 minutes and check them. And if you drop that pan down on your oven rack, they're going to sink. So the rise will fall. So make sure that, oh my goodness, Marla, you said it was 70 miles from you. I was wondering about y'all. I think, I may be mistaken, but I think Tamara Fleetwood lives in Indiana too. So I hope it wasn't close to her. But when you're checking them, just be very gentle and make sure that pan doesn't fall down. So you let your muffins fall. See how beautiful they are? Now they did fall over just a little bit, but that's okay. I do not mind that at all. So I'm going to set them here and get the other pan out. Now you are going to have to let them cool just a tad before you turn the oven off, before you take them out of the, before you put the glaze on them is what I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying. Let them cool just a little bit before you take the glaze on. Before you put the glaze on there, I'll get right in a minute. Let them cool a couple of minutes or so, or 5 minutes before you put the glaze on them. I said things backwards twice. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the pan. And I've got a baking sheet here lined with parchment. I don't want them to keep cooking, so I'm going to take them out of the pan. They're hot. So you might need to you might need to be a little more smarter than me and get a pot holder or something, but they are hot. Ooh. Now, if that batter had been any thinner, these would have overflowed. So you want to make sure to follow those instructions. If you're using maraschino cherries and you've got the juice from the pineapple, you want to make sure that you cut down on the milk to 1 cup. And you also want to make sure that you add that extra tablespoon or 2 of flour, all-purpose flour. That will make them just a little bit thicker. These look really, really good. Okay, I'm just going to kind of spread them apart here so they can just cool just a tad. So in real life, I would probably let these cool probably 5 to 10 minutes. And I'll show you how it's going to do if I add the glaze on them now. I'm just going to give this a quick stir. And I'm just going to show you on one muffin. it's gonna kind of melt and run off the sides. And you want it to, it's not doing too bad actually. And you'll see that it's going to look like a glaze. It's not going to look like frosting. And that's what you want. You want it to look like a glaze. And see, it did run off the side just a little bit. But you see it's almost opaque looking to where it's just a very thin glaze. So don't wait too late. Let them cool a little bit, but don't let them get completely cold before you put this on it, because it will kind of, you know, it just kind of goes down into that muffin. So what I made the other day, I sent home with Mary. I did not give any to my neighbors. So my neighbors are definitely going to get some of these today. And I wanted to wait till they were done before I texted them and told them they could stop by and get some if they wanted to. I think they probably will want some. They might not, but I think they will. Okay, I'm going to just wait because they are running down the side. I don't like to give somebody something that's all sticky and everything. But they're going to be really delicious and they're going to be really good. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. And it seems like there's glare, or maybe it's the way I'm sitting. But be sure to be kind if you're out and about today, if you're dealing with someone on the phone. And I will tell you that, you know, I'm a very persistent person. Woo, that pan is hot. I don't know why I thought I could move that with my hand. But like when I was dealing with the insurance lady the other day, and you know, I was letting her know I didn't understand why, you know, I had a policy that wouldn't pay for what I thought it would pay for, and be in a nice way, and it wasn't a nicey nasty way. You know, there is a difference between being nice and being nicey nasty, not to get your point across. But I told her, you know, it was no reflection on her. I just didn't understand why you pay thousands of dollars for decades, and then when you need coverage, you don't have it when you thought you had it. But you could absolutely take that out on the person, or you could realize that you're dealing with someone that has no control over what they're telling you. Now, there was a couple of things that she was wrong and I was right in, which, you know, I knew I was. And in the end, you know, she did tell me that I was right. But it doesn't mean that you have to be rude to people. And I always try to think about that when I'm talking to people. Don't get mad and jump on somebody just because they're the person you're dealing with. Just realize that that person is just doing their job, and they are doing what they were told to do. So it's really not them that you're angry at or that you're out of sorts with. So when it was all said and done, you know, she did even send me an email and apologized that what she told me was not right, which, you know, they still didn't cover the trees, but it was another issue that we were talking about, the food spoilage. So anyway, it's very easy to get upset. What I'm trying to say, it's very easy to get upset, especially when it's hitting your pocketbook. But that still doesn't really mean that you need to get upset at that person. Just take a deep breath and just realize that, you know, what they say, it is what it is, which I hate that saying, it is what it is. It's like no problem, you know, when as soon as somebody tells you that, you automatically think it is a problem, or at least that's what I do. But be sure to be kind to people, whether you're on the phone with them, whether you're texting them, whether you're commenting on somebody's page on Facebook, or whether you're out and about in a line in a grocery store where people are waiting. They're impatient, you know, because you're having to spend money that you didn't intend on spending when you're replacing what's in your what's in your house. So just keep that in mind. You know, we're not the only person that it's happened to, and I know that. Life will go on. You know, it's not the end of the world. You just deal with it, and then, you know, and go on from there. Always, always, always be thankful, because just like Mama taught us all of our life, it could have always been worse, and it really could have. So count your blessings. Be sure to join tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central Time. And again, thank you to everyone that's watched us. We're going to be telling y'all what we're doing next month soon. So be sure not to miss any of our programs. If you can't watch us live, go back and watch replay, because we'll be telling what we're going to be doing next month for our 3rd anniversary, starting on our 4th year. We love y'all. God bless. Stay safe from the storms. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, the Lord willing. Bye-bye.